Hello everybody, we're back to playing Sword of the Stars 2. Let's keep moving along with the turns. Looks like our colonization of Voltara is almost done. And I think what we're going to do is, as soon as it's done, I'm going to actually scrap all the colonizers. I don't know, maybe I keep a few of them around. There are no other systems to colonize, and I won't be able to really colonize these territories for a while, and so it's just going to be money that I can, the maintenance money I can just spend much better elsewhere. Okay, another random survey fleet that is just going to get murdered here, so that's strange. Now, my ships are a little beat up. Let's repair the outpost. Let's not forget that. And in fact, let's get the repair. Let's get the warehouses. It would not be a crazy idea to consider upgrading this naval station. Yeah, not a crazy idea. So last episode we discovered that my repair fleets were mysteriously disappearing, and I think it's because they were sent to relocate, and then the colony got blown up, and then they sort of didn't know where they were supposed to be and just decided to be nowhere and to die, which is unfortunate, but you know, the game does have some weird I guess quote-unquote bugs. Like, you could see how there's a thing there, but obviously if you still maintain control of the system and you still had the ability to support fleets there, then clearly the fleet shouldn't disappear, so that's life. Okay, let's, the fleet is still going to be in the correct position. Let's fight. I should have readjusted these, the starting position, so I don't have to do all this fidgeting at the beginning, but oh well. I forgot. So there should be a boar ship here. Yep, there it is. They're coming right at me. Here, for some reason, is... Oh no, this is an armor cruiser. Okay, so there is an armor cruiser there. Let's go for the boar ship anyways, because it's sort of more expensive. Now my guys these ships are starting to take quite a beating. I might need to reinforce this fleet with new cruisers from the nearby system, where I'm sort of remaking a new fleet. Yeah. So I'm really taking a beating from this ship. Let's kind of roll in place here. So I'm just having my ships rotate and spin around. It makes the targeting a little less accurate, but it does really spread out the damage. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have everybody flip around upside down, just to kind of rotate through the different armor facings. We still got our 8. We still haven't lost any cruisers. Okay, good. We took out their... Let's go close to attack. We took out the dangerous ship. It's dangerous because if they decide to use that special attack, it can knock out like their whole fleet. Fortunately for Soul Force ships, it won't actually destroy the ships, but it will blast them to nearby systems, which is a real pain. Looks like we're still doing okay. We've lost a lot of the mission sections, but taking a quick look, right, the center is what gets targeted. I think we're still good on engine sections. We took out their armor cruiser here. I think I'm a little afraid of what happens when these ships get there. Let's have you... Oh, this command ship has no more engines. That is unfortunate. Let's take you. and have you burn extra fast in that direction. So you can turn on the sort of afterburners on your ships. That will disable the weapon systems, and when you bring it back to normal speed, it will take a while before the engine systems before the weapon systems come back online. But sometimes it's the only way to catch up. And what I want to... Oh, this is actually very dangerous. Huh. Okay, the command ship is almost gone. Because it's being shot at by missiles. Let's see. Where are the missiles landing? Okay, fortunately they're landing on the front part of the ship. So what I was worried about is that we would go into fast combat because my fleet here would be too far away, and then these three ships would just speed off and hit the naval station there. So I just wanted to make sure that didn't happen. I'm gonna let the bulk of my fleet here finish off this cruiser. Now this ship has gotten close enough. Command section 11. Okay, good. So because of the angle, they're only hitting the front part of the ship, which is good. Alright, afterburners. No, they won't make it. It's 52 seconds. So I've turned off the afterburners on this ship. Now, in hindsight, this ship is almost dead, so this wasn't the brightest choice, but this ship is a supply ship, and it's missing, you know, it's giving these guys something to shoot at, which is not my station. And although I don't think the station could be taken out, what I really want to avoid at all costs is losing that station. Alright, so they're just shooting missiles. Yeah, the last 16 seconds of this combat are gonna be meaningless. So we managed to preserve all of our cruisers, even though they've taken even more of a beating, and we have destroyed another one of their warships, and an armor cruiser, and a battle rider carrier with its complement of battle riders. So another successful defense.
These colonists won't need any more fleet support.
Okay, well, Tara is done. Let's continue the support. Okay, 61%. That's okay. We are gonna try it. 36 turns is a long time, and we might go over budget because of the. Yeah, this is bad. I really need to get these repair cruisers here. I'm producing... I've got 2 more coming. Actually, you know what I really should do is... I'm going to actually create a repair fleet. Because I've been burned a few too many times where the... I guess it doesn't really matter. Use up a skeptic. So this will be a repair fleet. Should call them support, because I have an extra command ship because I'm not using the construction. Actually, I should. What I should do is I should build a civilian command here, just a cheaper command ship, which I'll use for my construction fleet. Yeah, so by having an actual support fleet here, then it will. I'll be immune to the vagaries of, you know, whatever happens when these ships mysteriously decide to like disappear because of the colony getting destroyed. Right now, interestingly, this fleet was actually on a mission to strike Cetus, and it was pathing through Cuthbert, but it's been pretty much gutted, so Cetus will be able to defend itself no problem. The Tarka are scouting me here, which is no problem. And I think we got some... Yeah. Alright, so we need to upgrade this civilian station now. So let's reactivate the construction crew here. Let's get the constructors. we need to upgrade the civilian station because we're out of docks, basically. Yeah. Here. How are we doing here? Okay. And here we probably need to upgrade it. So I'm getting a new command ship at Archon next turn, so I'll send that to upgrade the civilian stations here. How's the budget doing? Yeah, we're going to lose money because we're upgrading the trading post. We're spending too much on stimulus. Let's tone it down a little bit. Try to... This will even out in a few turns. Let's check. Let's see where we are in politics. Okay, we are almost at liberationism. So actually, why don't I'd like to maybe... We've got some time. Let's take a look. I'm gonna look up I'd like to take a look at the XML files to see again the exact bonuses for the kinds of governments. So, government effects. Here we go. Open with, guess Notepad will do. Okay, and let me bring this up on the recording software. There you go. Okay, so here you can see, for example, that centrism, which is the default government, at the top here, these are like diplomatic modifiers for people in different governments, right? But we don't really care about that. What we care about are the morale and the strat modifiers. So centrism gives you nothing special, right? If we were on the left, so anywhere from communalism, which is in the top left, socialism, which is on the left, and cooperativism, which is on the bottom left, notice here that being in debt, if you're in the bottom left, has no effect on morale. So you can spend money and actually end up in debt temporarily because it's bad in terms of your finances, but if it happens, you won't lose any morale. Normally, you would lose morale. For example, if you were in liberationism, let's see, industrial output, prototype construction cost, tax revenue. That's not what I was looking for. Okay, doesn't. Actually, so I guess it's not. There isn't an additional penalty. It just gives you the regular morale loss, right? So normally you suffer from morale when you're in debt, right? So actually, what you can see is being on the left, and usually you're either in socialism or more often than not you're in cooperativism. Let's look at the bonuses you get. You get, so good and bad designs are like little bonuses you get on new ships. It's not a huge deal. You have better environmental stewardship. So the planet, not the planet resources, but let me show this again. Let's go back to the game here. On each individual planet, you have not only the resources, but also the biosphere. And the biosphere is like used for psi as a resource once you unlock psi talents. I don't know if we'll get into it much this game, but if we do, that's where that comes into play. But here you see we have a population growth modifier, which is quite significant. We also have a research modifier, a positive research bonus for being in at the bottom left government. Tax revenue is diminished, but remember we have a bonus to, like, we're able to bring the tax slider up a lot. And some industrial output is slightly diminished here, right? If we compare that to the government on the bottom right, industrial output minus 10, construction cost modifier minus, so 0.35. So ships are they can be produced a lot faster in this form of government. For cruisers, dreadnoughts, and leviathans. So that's really the main thing that's great about this form of government. If we're on the right, but in the middle in terms of authoritarianism, then we have trade revenue is boosted by 25. However, we're destroying the environment a lot faster. We have some minor savings to shipbuilding. There's stuff about Intel, but that's not a big deal. And then finally, you have a bit of a boost to tax revenue. So in terms of the economy and just making money, then really this government here, the mercantilist government, is really where you want to be. So in order to get there, we would have to boost our authoritarianism up a lot, which involves the easiest ways to build naval stations. Now let's take a look at another XML file. One of the files that we had already taken a look at, called morale modifiers, just to see what kinds of things can boost our government up. Which one is it showing? Let's close this one. There we go. So we want to. Oh, this is actually not what I was. I didn't mean to open. This is actually something different, but I'm interested in talking about this. But let us first actually do what I meant, which was not morale modifier. It was government action modifiers is what I want. Okay, so we want Y change +1. Oh, these are just diplomatic things, so we're not going to do it. So let's see. Naval modules all increase it by 1, right? Some science modules also increase it by 1. If I set some planets to over-harvest, so our over-harvesting, let me go back to the game and show you what that is. Over-harvesting is when you tell a colony you really need to produce stuff really quickly. You can tell it to over-harvest, and what it will do is it will look at industrial output here and see how it goes up as I slide this to the right, and it will use up permanently resources to kind of like put your economy in overdrive, but not for money, just for production. So if you do that, let's take a look at this XML sheet again. If you have an overdeveloped world and you over-harvest, it's really going to boost you up in the authoritarian direction. Let's see what else. Yeah, building a naval station. We knew already. Building police cruisers. However, that also brings our X to the left, and we want to try to stay to the right. And then, yeah, declare system closed is not something we want to do anyways. Yes, that's pretty much it. So building naval stations and over-harvesting is how we're going to get there. So I actually would like to have that, to make that happen, because building a lot of ships quickly is not really what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is getting a lot of money going. So I've committed to being a government in this area because I'm using surplus to make my trade freighters, right? And of these governments, this one is the most appealing to me because I'm going to make a lot more money, and then I can invest that money in whatever I need to make, right? Mostly science, but a lot of things. This, I can then turn off over-harvesting and allow my government to slip down into a more free government if I need to produce a lot of ships quickly. Plutocracy, let's take a look at plutocracy again. Government effects. Let me bring up this file here. In plutocracy, Industrial modifier 0.15, tax 0.15. Yeah, this is not... I'm not seeing great things here. Like prototypes, better... none of this is like really appealing to me compared to mercantilism. Now, one of the files that I kind of opened by accident was this file called morale modifiers, and that's an important thing that I want to show you. So, by default, whenever this happens on the left, then this will happen in terms of morale, okay? By default. So for centrism, which is the center government. Now, if you're in another government, then these values will override some of the normal events. So for example, being in debt normally reduces morale in all colonies by 1 or 3 if you're really in debt. However, if we go down, if you're in mercantilism, then the penalty is even worse, because this was -1, -3, now it's -1, -4, right? For plutocracy, it's -2, -4, and I think for liberationism, it's even worse. Yeah, -3, -6. So if you're in the bottom right, you really cannot afford to be in debt. However, in cooperativism, no penalty, right? So there you go. Another nice thing about being in the bottom right government is that normally tax increase, let's see, tax increase reduces morale by 1 everywhere, right? However, in a government on the left, like cooperativism, tax increase, no problem, right? If we go, I don't think it applies here, right? So tax increase, yeah, no problem. So you can raise your tax really high under this form of government, right? Finally, overpopulating your planets does not, when you are in this form of government, apply morale event to colony -1 or 0. If we go to the normal situation, where is it? Planet, overpopulation planet, -2, -1, right? So normally you're losing morale from overpopulating. Let's take a look at mercantilism, which is where we want it to be. So this is the government that we're kind of aiming for. So we have, this diplomacy stuff isn't that important. Having a high economy rating is going to give us a morale bonus. Overpopulation is bad, but also if we can get to above 10 or 25 million in savings and stay there, then we'll be laughing, right? Because we'll have a great positive morale bonus. We definitely can't afford to increase our taxes because this gives us a -2, which is worse than the regular -1. Yeah, so those are things to keep in mind. The bottom right also really likes having money in the bank, right? We get a passive +2 or +3, which is great. But overpopulation is punished even more. So we're going to try to make it work with this government, with this mercantilist government. So we're going to do this let's turn off. Okay, we're back in the game. So we're stuck down here. So we are gradually making our way to the right. Now we need to shift up. The easiest way to do this is to turn on over harvesting. But we don't have to, we only need to like turn it on, right? So I'm gonna just turn it on by 1. So this is barely gonna drain my resources, which I'm not using because I'm not producing a lot of ships here. And I'm gonna do this in all of my planets. Just over harvest by 1. Especially the planets where I'm not planning to build military. So in other words, maybe I will save, for now, the Barrett and Cuthbert system is where I'm going to preferentially try to build my ships, because they're closer to the front line and also they have good resources. So everywhere else, oh, also, what about Archon 5 here? I mean, look, I'm only over harvesting one resource. It's not going to make a big deal. So I'm over harvesting almost everywhere. This should start to bring my authoritarianism a little high, and I'm also going to start to build more modules on this naval station, and probably start upgrading this naval station as well. Okay, I guess this is a good point to end the episode. So we did a bit of defense, and we've gotten a 61% on our chance on researching this technology. We have formed a repair fleet that we're sending to Cuthbert, and we've made some decisions about the form of government that we want to run. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.